arrive and settle in, we invite you to enjoy a few interactive booths we have arranged for you. So at the Bloom booth, you are more than welcome to take stem each and create your own bouquet. And this bouquet will remain available till the end of the event. At the illustration table, you have a portrait drawn, either individually or with a friend. And on the wishes table, you can write your best wishes for Khalsa Credit Union. And don't forget to visit our photo booth. And there is a wall of fame where you can see all our beautiful Khalsa Credit Union ladies. So have a picture with them and enjoy the snacks. It's ready. Thank you. May I kindly invite everyone to take their seats as we begin our program. Before we begin, allow me to briefly introduce myself. My name is Ramandeep Kaur Randhawa, Community Branch Manager at Khalsa Credit Union. So I have been working with this institution from past 19 years. So it is an honor for me to serve as your MC today. As we reflect today to celebrate International Women's Day, I would like to begin with the timeless message of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. So kyo manda akhiye jit jamme rajan. Why call her inferior from where even kings are born? This message reminds us of the dignity and strength of women in shaping our families, workplaces, and communities. On behalf of Khalsa Credit Union, I would warmly welcome you to our International Women's Day celebration and also proudly mark 40 years serving our community. Thank you. At Khalsa Credit Union, we are proud that more than 73% of our team is made of women, whose dedication and leadership continue to strengthen both our institution and the communities we serve. Thank you, ladies. We are also delighted to welcome the families of our staff, community leaders, and valued members who have joined us today. So we'll start with the video first. So it will show the history of Khalsa, like the journey. Corporate video, please.
And the shuttle has cleared the tower.
The 1980s were a decade of remarkable firsts. In 1981, history was made when the first Punjabi language TV broadcast aired in Canada, giving South Asian families a new way to see and hear themselves in their new homeland. In 1983, the cricketing world watched in awe as India lifted the Cricket World Cup, a moment of pride that resonated across South Asia and its diaspora. In 1985, the first ever cell phone call was made in Canada between the mayors of Toronto and Montreal, and the very first domain ever registered marked the beginning of the digital age. But here in British Columbia, another kind of a beginning was taking shape. Quieter, humbler, but just as revolutionary. In 1986, Khalsa Credit Union was born with a simple, powerful purpose that a community rooted in faith, optimism, and seva could lift each other higher through chardi kala, resilience, and shared prosperity. Today, that purpose remains our North Star. We exist to amplify the Sikh community's positive impact on the world by empowering every member who walks through our doors. There's a thread that runs through Khalsa Credit Union. You can't always see it, but you can feel it. In the way we greet a member, and the patience we offer, and the dignity we uphold. For members, that thread is oneness, when we all unite to work toward the same goal. It is helpfulness, when we get creative to solve a problem. It is generosity, when we share our time, knowledge, and spirit. It is resilience, when we help a member rebuild with courage. For us, it is lifting one another up. It is showing respect for each other and being sensitive to the community's views and values. This thread connects us to each other, to our history, and to the values that built us. And through the years, these values have turned into action. Workshops in local schools, senior centers, and the Surrey Women's Centre, helping build financial confidence in every generation. Over $1 million in scholarships and bursaries, encouraging students to dream without hesitation. Contributions to BC Children's Hospital to support youth mental health, and to Khalsa Aid to champion humanitarian relief across borders. Plantation Drive on International Credit Union Day, Adopt a Street cleanups, food drives, blanket drives, Seva at Nagar Kirtans. Every month, another step toward a stronger community.
Nobody else understands our community like we do. And a large part of that is the trust, the accountability that we have within the community, the understanding that the community has about the financial products we offer, and being competitive in the marketplace as well.
At Khalsa Credit Union, we don't measure success by numbers. We measure it by the lives we uplift, the trust we earn, and the community we strengthen. You are the reason this purpose lives. Through every conversation, every decision, every act of care, you make KCU what it is. Together, we honor our history. Together, we build our future. Together, we uplift our community in Chadti Kala.
Thank you for that reflection on the 40-year journey of Khalsa Credit Union. It reminds us of the dedication, vision, and community spirit that has helped shape Khalsa Credit Union into what it is today. So I would like to acknowledge some of our honored guests joining us today. Chamvat Valerie Cross. Hi, Chamvat. She's Executive Counselor and Legislature with the Tuason First Nation Legislature. Our Khalsa Credit Union Women Directors, Mrs. Gurminder Kaur Malik, Mrs. Harleen Kaur Malik, Minhas, sorry. And a warm welcome to our panelists, Puneet Sandar, Dr. Virender Bal, Bel Puri, and Yasmin Gandham. We also look forward to welcoming Her Worship Mayor Brenda Locke, who will be joining us later in the program. So to begin our program, please join me in welcoming our directors, Mrs. Malik and Mrs. Minhas, for opening the program.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Happy International Women's Day. So it's so lovely to see all of you here today as we've come together to celebrate International Women's Day. On behalf of the Board of Directors of Khalsa Credit Union, thank you for being here. It means a lot to have our female staff of Khalsa Credit Union, female members, board members, and I believe we also have wives of some of our male staff present here today. And it's nice to see everyone gathered in one room to celebrate the women who shape our community every day. For me, this event feels especially meaningful because my connection to Khalsa Credit Union goes back a very long time. I've been a member of Khalsa Credit Union since 1996. I received my first scholarship when I graduated in grade 12 from KCU. And not long after that, KCU gave me one of my first jobs. I spent 6 weeks working at the old Scott Road branch. I used to file papers and help with whatever was needed. At that time, I couldn't have imagined that years later, I would have the privilege of serving on the board of directors. And my husband reminded me today that I am also the first woman chairperson to serve on the board of directors. I'm not the chair at the time, right now, but I was. And now after 12 years on the board, it really does feel like I have grown up with this institution in so many different ways. That's why today is not just professional for me, it's deeply personal. Khalsa Credit Union was founded through vision, commitment, and seva. The original vision came from Bhaisap Bhai Jeevan Singh Ji, and my father-in-law at that time, Mr. Daman Singh Malik, helped put the work in to incorporate Khalsa Credit Union in 1986. And Mr. Malik was someone who truly believed that women in leadership make society stronger. He didn't just say it, he believed it, he supported it, and he lived it. And when we look back at the history of KCU, we can clearly see that women have always been an important part of its foundation. Guru Raj Kaur Khalsa was one of the first female board members. Amarjeet Kaur was one of the most dedicated early employees of the credit union. In fact, she was Khalsa Credit Union's first employee, a woman 40 years ago. That's very special for us to remember today. And I also want to give a shout out to Panji Jagjit Kaur, who began her work with KCU serving alongside boards, many different boards, and CEOs as executive secretary, and she's still with the credit union today. She carries so much knowledge about the history of KCU, its founding members, their families, and the relationships that have built this credit union over the years. She's one of the people I call when I need context or when I want to better understand a member connection. I see her as the living bridge between our past and our present. So when I think about all of this, one thing becomes very clear to me. That Khalsa Credit Union was built on the strength, knowledge, and dedication of women. And as Raman Kaur mentioned earlier, 73% of its staff right now is women. And that shouldn't surprise us, because in Sikhi, women have always been given dignity, equality, and respect by our gurus. Guru Nanak Dev Ji challenged the discrimination of women in his time and reminded us so powerfully that from women man is born, within women man is conceived, and to a woman he is engaged and married. In Sikhi, women are not secondary. They are revolutionaries, like Mai Pago, who challenged Sikh men to be loyal to their guru. They are leaders like Maharani Jind Kaur, wife of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, who actively fought against British attempts to annex Punjab. Women are equals like Mata Kivi Ji, wife of our second guru, Guru Angad Dev Ji, who institutionalized the tradition of langar. All women, and especially Sikh women from the start of history, are meant to participate, to contribute, to guide, and to lead. So today, as we celebrate International Women's Day, we are also celebrating values that are already deeply rooted in who we are. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to my fellow board member, Harleen Kaur, to speak about the future we are continuing to build together at KCU within our communities and within our homes.
Thank you, Gurminder, and thank you everyone for being here this afternoon. So when we talk about empowerment, especially in the credit union system, financial education is often the starting point. It gives people the tools and confidence to make informed decisions for themselves, but true empowerment actually goes further than that. It's about creating environments where women feel confident sharing their ideas. It's also where leadership opportunities are visible and accessible, and leadership that is inclusive, collaborative, and forward-thinking. So from a board's perspective, one responsibility is to think long-term. Not just about financial sustainability, but actually about the culture and Sikhi values that will guide KCU's vision in the upcoming years. And the truth is, that future is already being built by the people in this very room. The service you all provide to members, the care that you show to your teams, and the spirit you bring to your work, all of it strengthens KCU and our communities. So while it's important to celebrate how far we've come, what excites me even more is thinking about where we are going by empowering each other. Empowering to keep speaking up, to keep mentoring one another, and to keep challenging what is possible. Because when women support and elevate one another, the impact goes far beyond the workplace. It strengthens families, communities, and organizations like ours. So on behalf of the board, thank you for your dedication, leadership, and energy that you bring to KCU every single day. We are grateful for each of you, and we hope you enjoy the rest of this afternoon. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa.
Thank you, Mrs. Malik and Mrs. Minhas, for your thoughtful opening remarks. Your leadership and guidance continue to strengthen the vision and growth of Khalsa Credit Union. Thank you once again. It is now my honor to invite our first keynote speaker, Chamquat Valerie Cross, Executive Counselor and Legislator with the Tawasan First Nation legislation. Please join me in welcoming Valerie Cross.
Misap Kakwelam, welcome. Valerie Tanasqui Talitzen Ach Tawasan. My name is Valerie and I'm from Tawasan. Aikna Squalawin Kwanani Iquatsatala. I am very happy to see you all today. Thank you so much for the invite, for being here. Thank you, Randeep, for the kind introduction, and especially for the invitation to be here today. I wasn't sure what to expect, but boy, do I feel empowered looking upon this beautiful sea of sisters in front of me. It is such a good day to be celebrating International Women's Day. I want to thank the Creator for another beautiful day on Mother Earth that we're sharing here today. And I've been asked to share my views, my perspective on resilience, leadership, and identity on International Women's Day today. A little bit about myself. My lovely sister here introduced me as Chamquat. I was raised on the former reserve at Tawasan First Nation by my grandmother Pearl. And I carry her middle name. My middle name is her name, Valerie Pearl. I loved my grandmother and my grandfather, but he left shortly after I moved in with my grandparents. But my grandmother was fun. She was strong. She was resilient. She was wise. And she knew the meaning of family. So I carry her name very proudly. And then when I discovered that she was raised on the Mission Reserve in North Vancouver, and that her mother, Helen Perkins, and her mother, Chamquat, were connected to the Squamish Nation, when it was time for me to get my ancestral name, I knew that I needed to honor my grandmother and to carry that side of my family. I love my grandfather, Tehuilam, but it was meant to be for me to carry that name, to carry on that strength and that resilience that those mothers, those grandmothers, and those great-grandmothers survived so that I could be here. But before I continue on more of my story, I want to acknowledge the tremendous milestone that was just shared with you about Khalsa Credit Union's 40th anniversary. 40 years. Okay, I can sort of think about where I was in the 80s. Some of the times I was a good girl, sometimes I was a little bit naughty. The 80s were kind of fun. I don't know about how they were for you, but they were kind of fun for me. But 4 decades of service, stewardship, and unwavering commitment to the community, creating change and opportunities that weren't there before. It was built from a vision of economic self-determination, collective prosperity, and community empowerment. I love that, community empowerment, the things that this community was able to do because of this credit union. They stood, I can see, and I've watched, as a pillar of trust. That's how work gets done. And uplifting families, supporting small businesses, and investing in the youth, and ensuring that community values, the values that were just talked about, are led with this financial decisions. Their work has gone beyond banking. It's about lifting up people and about creating opportunity and keeping culture, compassion, and community at the heart of everything that they do. On this anniversary, I want to honor the founders who dared to imagine to do something better and the leaders that carried this vision forward towards the community members who trust them and the partnerships that they've developed, those strong partnerships. You won't be carrying on for 40 years if you don't have a good relationship with the people that you work, live, and play with. Thank you to all of the leaders that inspire how it really means to work with your community, serve your community, and model that to other communities as well. Congratulations again to Khalsa Credit Union for 40 years of strengthening their community, supporting families, and building a future that we all rise together. So on this day, to all my sisters here today, because I believe we are all sisters, we have so many things in common. And I believe that we're all part of the same kind of family. Today, on International Women's Day, we gather in that spirit of sisterhood and unity. Around this country, the beautiful country of Canada, this province, beautiful BC, and our respective communities that we come from, Delta, Surrey, Richmond, Burnaby, Langley, wherever, White Rock, we come from large populations and small populations where women are rising. This room is a real indicator of women that are rising. They are lifting up their families, strengthening their communities, breaking down barriers, and refusing to be defined by limits that they did not create. This room is filled of women rising. Give yourself a hand of applause. So today, to me, is not just about recognition. It's about honoring each and every one of you women that are here and the women that could not be here today. It's about a day of gratitude, being thankful that I have sisters that I can turn to, people I can meet, being grateful for the work and the paths that have been forged in front of us. And a day of power, realizing our power and not shying away from it, but embracing our power because we are powerful. It's a day to acknowledge the women that have shaped us, women who have guided us. We talked about some of the ladies here that have been at the credit union for 40 years, and they paved a path, and they've shaped the work that has come after them, and the women that will lead us into tomorrow. Women like my grandmother Pearl, who raised me, and my beautiful mother, Roberta, who loved me unconditionally, but did not have the capacity to be a parent. Somehow she had the wisdom, though, to let me be raised by my grandmother. And still, I did not lack of any love, or nor did I feel neglected. Somehow, I still felt loved because that sacrifice that she made of not being my parent, but still being my mom, changed the trajectory of my life. I could have been gone somewhere else. But because of that, I got a bonus mother, a foster mother, who took me in at the age of 10 with her family, and I got a bonus family with that as well. A foster mother who valued family, but most of all, she valued curiosity, bravery, and fun. To my bonus sisters who modeled loyalty, love, and humor. Women across the entire world, the province, this country, we all come from different cultures, different languages, and different histories. Yet, all our stories intersect in the most powerful of ways, the things that we have in common. We're all a little bit different, but then we're not all that different from each other after all. We are a sisterhood. To the women in this room, you carry the courage of your grandmothers and your mothers. Women who crossed oceans, rebuilt their lives on new lands, and held onto their culture while embracing new possibilities. You are innovators. You are healers. You are leaders, and you are storytellers. You are showing your daughters and the world that identity is not something to choose, but to proudly celebrate. I'm an Indigenous woman, a First Nations woman, and Indigenous women are the heartbeat of Turtle Island. For generations, we've carried teachings, protected the land, preserved our languages, and led our nations with strength grounded in land, ceremony, and community. And our leadership is woven with values the world needs more than ever: respect, reciprocity, balance, and relational accountability. We have changed laws. Women in our communities have changed laws to maintain our culture, advocate for our children, advocate for inclusion, and bring our families home and bring our families together. And today we honor the courage, the knowledge, and the rising of power. To all sisterhood, to all women, you are creators. You are innovators. You are leaders, builders, protectors, and dreamers. Women are changing the way people view the future, and we carry the hope of this world. And today, I see you. I see each and every one of you for what you can contribute and what you bring to change this world and create hope for the future. We celebrate you. I celebrate each and every one of you. You all have power within you. You all have passion. You all have abilities that we can work together and share and change this world. Before I go any further into, I just want to tell you a little bit more about me, a little bit about my life roles. I'm a daughter. I'm a single daughter by birth. I don't have any blood siblings, but I have bonus sisters and brothers. I created my own family because of love. I'm a mother and a stepmother. I have one daughter and one stepdaughter. I'm a grandmother and a bonus grandmother. Blended families means that you get bonus children in the mix. I'm an auntie by choice. I'm a sister by good fortune, and now I have a bigger family of sisters in front of me here. I'm a cousin, and I'm a friend. I've also been many other things. Cashier, stalker, like, you know, it's not stalker as if I was stalking you. Like, let's make sure that I get the right words here. Stocking shelves on the grocery store, installing networks, trainer, computer trainer, administrator, factory line worker. That was a weird side job, but I won't. That's another story. I just have to tell you, I was a terrible waitress, but I was a waitress nonetheless. Information technology specialist, an executive director for my band, a treaty negotiator, a treaty implementer, a governance advisor, a chief administrative officer, an associate director in academia, a legislature, an executive counselor. But that's not who I am. Those are things I've done. They're journeys and stories that have built the character that I have become. And as I did mention earlier, you know, there were times I was a little naughty, and there was times when I did really good things and did the best that I could, the best that I could. But I am an Indigenous woman, a First Nations woman, a Coast Salish woman, a Tsawwassen woman. And I come from a long line on both sides of my heritage. And like many women, I have walked through storms that were never meant for me. My parents were challenged by many things and had difficulty coping in this world. My dad moved into the spirit world when I was 3. And as I mentioned, my mom, she didn't have the capacity to be a parent. She loved me though. Love, I was raised on love, and I think that is my greatest strength, is my capacity to love. When you love and you move forward in love, you can conquer many things. But it was up to my grandparents to raise me, and then to my chosen parents, my foster parents after that. And I learned that family could be however I shaped it, and that I could lead with love, I could choose joy, and I can create acceptance. I'm blessed to have the Forever Foster family with strong women role models. I'm blessed to have my Coast Salish relatives whose matriarchs created a path for me into the leadership roles that I hold today. It has been a wonderful journey of challenges and joys, heartbreak, sorrow, and celebration. There's been times when I lost myself. Don't we all lose ourselves from time to time? We get caught up in something, job, relationship, family, animosity, poverty, challenges of all kinds. And there was times when I believed the world's lies about my worth, about my identity, and about my capabilities. Times when people said, "You cannot withstand the storm." But then I remembered something inside of me. I remember the women I came from, remembered the battles that they fought so I could be here today. And in the most difficult times, when those small defeating voices whispered, "You cannot withstand this storm," I yelled back, "I am the storm, and I will survive." Today, thank you. Today, we honor the women here and in our lives who were told to wait their turn and instead chose to stand taller. I will not wait. I'm here. We honor the women who were handed the rain instead of shelter and still found the courage to dance in the rain and not shy away from it. I do not fear the storm or run and hide and wait for it to pass any longer. No, I stand up tall. I walk confidently into that storm and I dance in that rain. Embrace it. Turn into it. And be strong. Across all of our areas, across our cultures, across our generations, women have turned struggle into strength. I bet you know women that have turned struggle into strength. I bet you some of you are women, or most of you are women that have turned struggle into strength. They have taken challenges that were meant to break them, but transformed them into fire that lights a way forward. Think of women who have crossed oceans with nothing but hope in their hands. My mom, Vath, my foster mom, she was a war bride in Holland. At 17, she came over on a boat just after the war from Holland to Canada with a new husband. No family, no language, and no idea what she was getting into. And she created a path and a legacy. And I am part of that legacy because she had the courage and the bravery to create something different. And I bet we all have relatives in our ancestry that did something brave that put all of us into the place where we are today, for the opportunities that we might not have had if they didn't have that courage. Think of the women who built families, uplifted communities, and protected children and worked tirelessly, often unnoticed and unthanked. These are the women who held broken systems together. These are the women who learned to shine even in the darkest moments. And these are the women whose dreams were bigger than their circumstance. These women are our grandmothers, our aunties, our mothers, our sisters, our cousins, our friends. These women are you. Breaking barriers and moving forward. Today, we honor them all, and we honor you. That's what this celebration is about, is honoring you today. We honor the women that have 2 jobs and still made time to comfort someone else and care for their family. We honor women who faced racism and sexism and walked through the world with dignity. We honor the women who raised children on their own, the women who healed themselves while still healing others as well, the women who had turned fear into courage and pain into wisdom. There is no challenge a woman has not met. There's no barrier that a woman has not broken. And there's no storm that a woman has not learned to command. Be that storm. Let's not make today just about International Women's Day. And it's just not a celebration. Let's just not do that. Let's think about, what are we going to do? What kind of call to action can we take with us home today? So let's think about this. Break down barriers that limit opportunity. Don't accept it just because there's something in front of you. Mow it down. Break down that barrier. This is really important to me. Lift one another up with generosity. Create a space where everyone's voice is valued. Advocate fiercely for safety, justice, and equality. And support the next generation so that their walk might be a little smoother. Because when we invest in ourselves, when we invest in women, we invest in a stronger, fairer, and more compassionate future. Today, I want to add to what I've been sharing already, something that has carried women through generations and cultures and has carried us through many life experiences. And that is women lifting up women, supporting one another, standing by one another, and rising together. Women don't empower each other with ego or competition. We do it the only way women can, with heart honesty, compassion, and with quiet strength of those who understand what it means to carry the world and still keep going. Women lift with an instinct born from experience. We lift because we know what it feels like to be overlooked, unheard, and underestimated. How many of us have been underestimated in our worlds, and then we've had to show that we are more than just what they thought we were going to be? We lift because we remember the moments when another woman lifted us, when a sister, an auntie, a grandmother, a colleague, or a friend reached out and said, I see you, I believe in you, keep going. And lifting each other means something important. It means we don't gossip about one another. We don't tear each other down behind closed doors. We don't feed jealousy or whisper judgment. We know that words can wound, and women have already been wounded enough. Instead, we choose a different way. We speak each other's name with respect. We correct misinformation with truth. And we protect one another's dignity even when no one is watching. Because strength is not tearing down, strength is holding each other up. We celebrate each other's wins, not fear them. Another woman's success does not threaten us, it expands what is possible. We tell each other the truth with love, not to harm, but to help, not to shame, but to strengthen. We say, if you rise, I rise with you. Women understand that leadership isn't about being above somebody else. Every time a woman uses her voice, she creates another space for another woman. Every time a woman stands tall, another woman finds her courage. Every time a woman says yes to herself, she opens the door for someone else to follow. On this International Day, let us remember, we are stronger together, we are braver together, and we rise higher together. And when women support women with kindness and honesty, with empathy and loyalty, there is nothing that we cannot overcome. Because when women lift up each other, we don't just rise, we transform the world. On this day of International Women's Day, let us remember we are warriors. Not because we fight alone, because we fight side by side. We are strong, not because life has been gentle, but because we have learned to build strength from struggle. We are powerful not because we were given power, but because we claimed it. We are unbreakable. We are women warriors today, tomorrow, and always. So, thank you. So today, let us honor the women who paved the way. Let's not forget who came in front of us. Stand by the women beside us and build a world worthy of the girls, the young women that follow. Let us move forward, not Samat, with one heart and one mind and one unstoppable goal of sisterhood. Happy International Women's Day, we rise together. I want to share one last thing with you, and I have to be honest, I'm a little nervous to do this, but I feel like it's the right thing to do. It's the Woman's Warrior Song that was written by Martina Pierre, an Indigenous elder of the Lillooet First Nation. And the song I'm going to sing is called the Woman's Warrior Song, and it honors missing and murdered Indigenous women. And it's a symbol of healing and strength, but it's also a symbol of unity and sisterhood, of us working together and being warriors together. And it's a song that I want to share with you now. So I'm just going to put on my faith inside myself, and I've never sang this song in public because I'm not actually a singer. I'm known as a speaker. So I'm just going to do this because I feel like I need to share this with you now. So give me one moment, please. Haichka. All right, so I'm going to sing 3 verses, and on the 4th verse, I want you all to raise your hands and just sing with me if you Thank you so much. I felt my courage growing as I moved forward with this. Let us find the best version of ourselves. Let's bring out the best in others. Let's sing together. Let's laugh together, pray together, cry together, dance together, lead together, and shine together. Please let my best light shine on you and make you brighter so that you too can shine on others. Thank you. Haichka Haisapka.
Thank you so much, Valerie Cross. Thank you. Beautiful words, beautiful song.
I'm just going to
Thank you
to
for
support my next.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Valerie Cross. That was beautiful. So thank you for your inspiring words. So our next speaker represents the same spirit of dedication within the Khalsa Credit Union family. Any guesses? Who is our next speaker? I have beautiful lines of Amrita Preetham for Maninder. मैं तेनू फेर मिलांगी, मैं तेनू फेर मिलांगी, जिथे विच सोच दी रोशनी होवे. So please join me welcoming Maninder Garewal, Community Branch Manager at Khalsa Credit Union, who has been serving our organization and community for over 30 years now. She is widely respected for her leadership, dedication, and strong connection with the society. Many of us here, including me, look up to her and example she continues to set. Please join me in welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy International Women's Day. It truly means a lot to me to be here today, surrounded by so many strong and inspiring women, as we celebrate International Women's Day and 40 years of Khalsa Credit Union serving our communities. For 4 decades, Khalsa Credit Union has been more than a financial institution. It has been a place where relationships are built, communities are served, and people are empowered to succeed. Our credit union has always believed in supporting initiatives that strengthen families, uplift women, and invest in well-being of our communities. I feel incredibly proud to be a part of an organization that believes success is not measured by numbers, but in the lives we uplift along the way. Today, I want to share some part of my personal story, not because it's extraordinary, but I feel many women here will see themselves in it. I lost my husband when I was still in 40s. At that time, when my children needed their father deeply. They were still in university, standing at the beginning of their lives. And overnight, life changed. Suddenly, I had to become both parents to my children. At the same time, I found myself dealing with challenges that many unfortunately face. In our culture, or perhaps in many cultures, family disputes arise around properties and responsibilities. There were legal matters, difficult conversations, and many sleepless nights worrying. My son was studying overseas at that time, and while he was there to give me moral support, there was no male figure physically present in the household to lean on for guidance. But I was not alone. My mother, my daughters, they stood firmly by my side. In those difficult times, they became my biggest supporters, showing strength, maturity, and love far beyond their years. And in many ways, it was my daughters and my mother who reminded me what the strength of women truly looks like. I watched my children grow almost overnight. The circumstances forced them to mature far beyond their years. There were moments when I doubted myself. I questioned whether I was strong enough to carry everything on my shoulders. And then I realized something very important. I had only 2 choices. I could break or I could rise. I chose to rise. Not because it was easy, but my children were watching. There were days when I was tired to my bones, when grief felt heavy and responsibilities felt endless. But through those moments, I held on to one belief: hardship is only a visitor, not a resident. My father once shared a piece of wisdom that stayed with me throughout my life. He said, "If there is a night, day is certain to follow, have full faith in him." That belief, along with my faith in him and in my own abilities, carried me forward step by step, day by day. Over time, that resilience also shaped my work in the financial industry and community leadership. I have had a privilege of serving with organizations such as Big Society, raising funds for the charities, hospitals, and supporting initiatives that strengthen our communities. Because I truly believe leadership is not about titles, it's about serving. And today, life has come full circle. The children I once took care of, the ones I stayed strong for, are now grown and are professionals in their own fields. And in a way that makes every mother proud. Now they take care of me. Along this journey, I've been humbled to receive the recognitions such as Woman of the Year and other notable rewards. And the truth is that every step forward was possible because of the support of my family, my community, my friends, my colleagues, and people who believed in me. That is why the message of International Women's Day matters so deeply. When women compete, a few succeed. But when women support each other, mentor each other, and lift each other up, entire generations succeed. And that is the power of women. Strength does not come from having an easy journey. Strength comes from walking through the storms and still choosing hope. Because when women rise, communities rise. And when communities rise, future becomes stronger for everyone. This is not just a belief, it is a responsibility. May we continue to lift each other up, support each other, and rise together. Happy International Women's Day, and thank you.
Thank you, Maninder. Thank you so much for your wise words. That's why you have so many followers at Khalsa Credit Union. Yeah, thank you. And I request Harlav to honor Maninder. Before we move forward to our panel discussion, it's time for our first door draw. Everyone has tickets? Maybe, Gunpreet, maybe we can give the tickets to everyone first. We'll take 5 minutes, give everyone tickets, then we'll do the draw.
Hello, everyone. Your kind attention, please. I do have a thought to share, and I was deeply fascinated by this thought. Feminism is not about making women stronger. Women are already strong. It's about changing the way the world perceives that strength. And I truly acknowledge that. I am just fascinated to see all the gathering here. And I would like to thank my own mentors, which I had in the form of my principals as I was working with Khalsa. I truly thank Ms. Gurminder Kaur Malik and Mrs. Kamalpreet Kaur Baga. They have truly supported me throughout my journey. Happy International Women's Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Ji. So to draw the prize, I would like to invite Jagjit Korpan Ji to please come on the stage. 187. 187. Congratulations and thank you, Benji. We now move to the most awaited part of this program, the panel discussion. We are honored to have 4 inspiring women joining us today and our moderator, Gunpreet Kaur. Gunpreet Kaur is here to guide our panel discussion, and Gulpreet holds a very responsible position at Khalsa Credit Union as Enterprise Risk Executive. We know her for her professionalism, positivity, and dedication to the work she does. Welcome, Gunpreet, as a panelist, as a moderator for the panelist. And I would now respectfully invite our panelists to come forward and take their seats on the stage. Puneet Sandar, Dr. Varinder Bal, Bel Puri, Yasmin, and now I'll hand over to Gunpreet Kaur to guide the discussion.
Hanji, attention please. So, good afternoon everyone. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome again. So, thank you for here as we are celebrating 2 important things. Number 1, obviously, International Women's Day. And number 2, 40 years of Khalsa Credit Union. 40 years is a major milestone. It represents trust, community, and a shared commitment to building a stronger future. And on International Women's Day, we are here to celebrate women, their leadership, their resilience, and the impact they create in every space they enter. Today is meant to feel like a conversation, warm, real, and uplifting. Our panelists are accomplished professionals, but we are here for the human side too. So what shaped them? What challenged them? How did they overcome those challenges? And what they have learned along the way. So we'll be discussing all this. So just presenting the agenda first. We'll run through quick intros. Then we'll move through a few questions across the panel. Then we'll do a couple of light rounds just to make this more memorable and fun. Okay, we'll see. Oh, it won't be just you guys, it will be audience as well.
Okay, great. Can we pick who's speaking?
Yeah, sure. And in the end, we'll have 15 minutes for the audience Q&A.
Awesome.
Sounds like a good plan? Yep. Okay. And my ask from the audience, just bring your energy. A smile, a nod, a laugh, a warm round of applause, it helps more than you know. So we need it. And so let's have the quick introductions. So let's start with Belle. And you just need to tell your name, what you do, and in one sentence, what you care about most in your work right now.
My name is Belle Puri. I am a broadcast journalist, a freshly retired broadcast journalist. And so to answer your question, retirement is awesome. One of the best things I've ever done.
Wow.
My name's Yasmin Gandam. I'm also a broadcast journalist. I work with CTV News. I guess one of the most important things right now, it's a challenging time to be a journalist. Journalism is a lot of the times under attack. There's a lot of misinformation. So I think one of the most important things right now is to be factual, be a voice that the public can trust, and be fair and honest reporting.
Awesome. I think because we started with the request that we need to have some energy in the room, how about a big applause first so we can all wake up? Hannah? And what was the question again? So I wake up?
Yeah, so it is like you need to tell about yourself.
Yeah, the question.
What you do right now, and one thing which makes you, which you feel that it is workable for you right now.
Okay. Most important thing in my work. I feel like I'm in a Miss India contest answering a question. My name is Puneet Sandar. I am a lawyer by profession. I am mother to two beautiful girls, Kirpa Kaur and Daya Kaur. Well, I have 3 kids. I have a husband too. But and I think the one thing which is really important for me in my profession is justice, is solving problems, and creating solutions for people, and taking that stress away from them, and giving them joy. I think people have a misconception that you only come to a lawyer when you have a problem. I'm a real estate lawyer, so I see people who are buying their first homes. You know, there's lots of memories associated when they're coming into the office. So I think that's the most important part for me in my profession.
Thank you. Dr. Varinder.
Thank you. My name is Dr. Varinder Bal. I'm a pediatrician. I am a consultant at Surrey Hospital, and I'm a director of my own clinic. One of the most important things for me is my life revolves around caring for kids, both at work and at home. So really the biggest passion is what can I do to make kids healthier, happier, support the parents. And the other thing which is getting very close to my heart, in the coming years, I'm going to focus more on it, is how to improve the access to care for kids. So
awesome.
Really hoping to make things a little bit better.
Thank you. Here we go. Okay, so the question for audience, just to see whether everybody is energetic again. So, if anybody has noticed, what is the theme of the day today? Raise your hands if you know. Okay, we see the one at the back. Yes. The theme of the celebration. Not every answer is wrong answer, so it's good. Thank you. Good. Thank you.
Empowerment.
So, thank you. Yeah, so the theme, we don't have the slides. It's Yeah, it's empowerment. So empowerment or empowering every woman. Thank you so much. Now, a bit difficult one. One more, just one more for the audience. What is the theme of International Women's Day by Government of Canada? They have a theme every year. No, it's a theme like we talked about empowerment. Anybody in the audience? Okay, so we'll be discussing a bit about... Yes, very true. Give to gain. That's the theme by Government of Canada for this International Women's Day. Thank you, Manisha. Thank you. Okay, so let's jump in and let's focus on our panelists. Here goes the question, number 1. So, when you think about women's empowerment, to you, Bill, so in your industry today, what does it really mean to you?
I think what it is, how much I've seen it change. I mentioned I've just retired, so I've spent a lifetime in journalism, in broadcast journalism, here in Metro Vancouver. When I started, in the dark ages, there were not women. Those of you who are of my vintage know that you did not grow up listening to women on the radio. You did not grow up watching women on television. These days we take it for granted. Our young journalists here, it's a wonderful field of women who are keeping us informed. So what I've seen change is, of course, the number of women who are in the industry, but we've also obtained editorial power, and it's not just tokenism. There are women news directors, managing editors, in British Columbia for the CBC, where I spent most of my career. The very top position for Western Canada is held by a woman, and they are assessed on their ability and what they can contribute and their strength. And you see them in many roles of leadership. And, so moving beyond tokenism was very important. But also, as we see more and more women in the industry, again, it's not, just certain women, it's across the board. You have women of different ethnicities. You have women from different regions and backgrounds. Every segment of our society is represented in what we're seeing and what we're hearing and what we're reading.
Excellent. Okay, and do you think that it is like empowerment is more about having a seat at the table, or having the real influence, or having financial independence? What do you think?
Oh, I think it has to be, a little bit of everything. First of all, we have to understand that table, there isn't just one seat for a woman. There are many seats there, and we need to see that opportunity and seize it. Now, financially, it depends on, are you in an office situation? Are you an entrepreneur? Obviously, if you're an entrepreneur, financial independence is important. But I think what's most important, what's most valuable, it's not the monetary independence. It's recognizing, what's inside of you. You have to recognize your strength, your values, your abilities, what you can contribute. Don't wait for external validation. And I think a lot of us do that or have done that. Someone else has to tell us, you're really good, or I think you're really good. You need to think you're really good.
Very true. Yeah. Okay, so Yasmin, my question to you. So what does empowerment look like in your day-to-day work situation?
Well, I just want to add a little bit to what Belle was saying about how there weren't women in broadcasting at the time. But I think for me, a little bit different, but still a challenge. I didn't really grow up seeing a lot of South Asian women in broadcasting. I think I always, as a kid, it was my dream to be a journalist and to be a reporter, and I love storytelling, but I never really thought it was something that was attainable because I didn't really see anybody who looked like me on the TV. I think that's changed a lot now, but I still think that was a challenge, and I feel when you are a woman and you are a South Asian woman, you do have to work to prove yourself. And I still feel, even now in 2026, even though we have come far, I do feel that I and other women in my workplace have to work to prove themselves a lot more than our male counterparts. So I think that still is a challenge. I think empowerment is supporting each other 100%, but I think it comes from not only our male colleagues supporting us, but the women as well. And I think there is a lot of competition, especially in this industry. And I think that we can't ignore that, that aspect of it, but I think it is really important that we support each other, not just the men, but the women as well. And I think that is really empowerment.
Very true, and I agree 100% to this. We'll revisit this later, but a very important point. Okay, so that was a very great start to question one. So, question number 2 is, let's talk about the challenges, and over to you, Puneet. So what is one barrier women still face and that people rarely talk about?
Well, I don't think there is a barrier that we rarely talk about. I think we've come to a point where our society has become very, very aware, and we talk about things. Well, I can just say from my perspective, and I'm a lawyer and I run a small firm. And I have associates who are male and associates who are young women as well, except for one female in my office. Most of the people who are working in my office are younger, late 20s, early to mid 30s. Now, for me, it is very, very important. We talk about women empowerment. Of course, women empowerment means giving equal opportunities to everyone. Of course, women empowerment means that when there are two people over there, they both should be treated equally. But for me, say, as someone who's running an office, now I have a young male, a male associate and a young female associate. I will give them equal opportunity, there's no doubt about it, but I think it is also to create an environment. Now, he is going to get up in the morning, go into the shower, put some hair gel, put his nice suit, and will have a fresh mind walking or driving to work, and he can think about his file, and by the time he's in the office, he already knows how he's going to handle it. He's going to call the client, and in about 2 hours, he'll get a good handle of his file. Now, a female associate who works in my office who has a 2-year-old has to first get up, pump, make sure the kid is fed, make sure his diaper is changed, then she's dropping him at the daycare, then she's driving to work wondering, what time am I picking up, what time am I getting to the daycare, will my husband remember to do this? While doing all of this, she's at the office dealing with the clients, working on the file, right? So what is really important and what we don't talk about is, yes, you want to give them equal opportunity, but you also have to give them a level playing field. Now, his only stress is to work on the file. She's managing 2 things. I think 10 points extra to her when there's a performance appraisal right there. How beautifully are you managing your household, and you're coming and you're being excellent at work. And I remember many years ago, I was interviewing for a junior conveyancer, and there were 2, we were down to second round of interviews, and there were 2 candidates, and one of them, which I was not much leaning on, and she said to me, she goes, I have to be honest with you, I'm 3 months pregnant, which means in about 5 months I'll be gone again. And so I'm thinking, okay, you're training them and, business decisions. 99.9% of the times I can guarantee you that resume would have been taken out of the pile and put aside. I hired her. She shouldn't have to bear the brunt of being someone who creates and brings life into the world. And she blossomed in her firm. She had 2 more kids after that. Now she's a lawyer and she's flying high. So I think we do talk about giving people equal opportunity, but we forget that at the end of the day, we also judge the challenges women come with. The other thing I would say, this is my experience, and I thought this had changed over time, but unfortunately it hasn't. More than a challenge that we don't talk about, at least in my field. I have Sonia sitting there, she's a lawyer as well. I'm sure she can speak for that as well. When I was in law school, I heard it so many times. These aunties would come to my mom and say, "Tusi kudi vakil banati hai, nu rishta nahi hona koi." Like, your daughter is going to be a lawyer, no man is going to want to marry her. Like, they think as if we are wandering in a house wearing a black robe and going, "Your Honor, objection," right? And it is very sad that even now, many years, this is like 30 years ago when I was in law school, I still have young female lawyers come to me and say, we're having these challenges at home. It is so sad. We don't talk about that. I don't know why there is this taboo that women cannot manage things and can't be professional enough. And I remember that auntie when she said to my mom, rishta nahi milna. I'm like, auntie, you are presenting a case nobody asked for and passing judgments. You're more of a vakil than I am. If you could get married, I could too, right?
Excellent
if God
example.
made a man, jada tuanu chal raha hai, maine bhi kuch chalega. Big deal. So I think these are the things we need to change the conversation around as well. We talk a lot about equal rights and feminism, but at the same time, we don't give women level playing field sometimes.
Excellent. I love the examples, I love the explanation, and I love the sense of humor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just wondering if anybody has any other example about barriers or challenges women face.
I can share. So most importantly, first of all, everybody can tell here, Puneet is she's awesome, and she has the microphone. She owns it, and she's
I
very
think I
comfortable.
want you to repeat that when my husband's in the room.
Own it, you know. And now I'm sitting. My turn comes after you, and it's hard to follow. But some of the other barriers I would like to speak from my perspective as a doctor who works at the hospital is talking about the bias and the stereotypes that we carry. So I'll give an example. My first shift at the hospital, we all wear the same scrubs. So doctors wear the same scrubs, or the cleaners even have this. So there are hospital scrubs, and all the employees in the hospital can wear those scrubs when you are in the hospital. Once those scrubs are on, I don't walk around with a big thing or a white coat saying I'm a doctor. I'm in scrubs. Now it's amazing to see how many people assume, who you are when everybody's in the same sort of uniform. And the number of times I've been assumed to be either one of the kitchen person or the cleaners in the ward is amazing. And I just laugh about it. But it's the bias. It's a very core bias that they just assume that that's who you are. If in the same scrubs a Filipino woman is there, they assume she's a nurse. If in the same scrubs an Indian woman is there, they definitely do not assume that you are the physician there. And one of the things I still so memorable, on my very first shift, I was at the hospital and they called, they needed me urgently. I'm walking down the hallway really fast, and one of the person comes out from the room and they go, "Can you go get those mesh panties? The patient needs them." And I'm like, I don't know where they are. But this is the maternity ward. But again, just assumption. And now when I'm at the hospital, I carry my badge higher. I put it higher. I even added a different layer underneath that says MD, so people can tell that, hey, I am the doctor, and you have to trust my word. So again, I think where I'm getting at is this bias that we still carry. So I think women have the opportunities. There is equality. I do value that. And I think we're now in this time where we're so blessed that we do have that equality, actually. But that bias is still quite a bit there. And it doesn't make me upset. I think it's funny and I laugh about it. But I'm hoping in generations to come it'll change.
Yeah, let's hope for the best. Fingers crossed. But it is very relatable.
In my industry, in terms of barriers or challenges, this is something, it's been there since day one, but has morphed into something else. And right now, that is gender-based online harassment. It's a huge problem. And it's, we know it's happening, so it's the bosses are aware of it, but they're not doing anything about it. And female journalists are not getting the tools to deal with it. And it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because obviously journalism is public-facing. So in this age of social media, we're encouraged to promote ourselves and our work on social media, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook. And what people say and write, because they can be anonymous, it has forced women from the industry. They've given up their careers as journalists. It happens in Canada, United States, the UK, France. There are many examples of women who have just said, I have to walk away from the abuse that's happening online. It particularly escalated during COVID, and it continues to be out there. I don't know what the answer is, other than, let's figure out something. How do we deal with this? But it's very disappointing. And, even when I was working, we would joke about, especially if you wrote for the online arm of CBC, and everyone used to say, don't read the comments, never read the comments. And we'd laugh, but I never read the comments. And anytime I did, you'd go through and there'd always be something that would stop you in your tracks. Before technology, it would come, in brown paper envelopes and written messages and scrawled in crayon and that. But now it's just so easy to do it, so easy to abuse female journalists online, and it's happening a lot. And it happens more to women than to men. I'm trying to remember, I think last time I read a study, it was 43% of female journalists versus 31% of male journalists.
Oh, no words for that. I don't know like how to react because yes, online abuse is something I don't know how to deal with that. Yasmin, you want to build?
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to that. I mean, a few things, but one, even if we don't even just think about abuse, but this was actually something that Global had done where, I don't know if you remember this, but they got all of the female news anchors to wear the same outfits on TV 5 days in a row versus the men. And but like to compare what the reaction was, and for the women, they were getting inundated with messages on social media. Can you not afford a new blazer? Or like, why are you wearing, and none for the men, which was just shocking. And honestly, I notice it myself. I get messages on my social media, oh, I prefer it when you wear your hair down versus your hair up. Or like people feel like they have a right to comment on your appearance or what you choose to wear. And that is shocking to me. And just adding on to the barrier point, what Puneeth was talking about, when I first got hired in TV news, my first job was in the Okanagan at Global, and before that I was at News 1130. I was in radio, and the reaction when I had told my workplace that I was leaving was that I was a diversity hire. So that was very difficult. But the reaction from a lot of people was, why would they hire someone who is your age, who does not have on-air experience in TV, to work at a major news network? You should think about that. You should think, Global is under pressure to increase their diversity. You should think about why they would hire you. And that is very difficult when you're new in this industry and you are navigating it. And at the time, I didn't know a lot of people and I couldn't really lean on people, and that is very difficult. So I do feel like no matter what, as a young woman and as a young South Asian woman, you are constantly having to prove yourself and prove that you have a right to be there. And I think that is an obstacle that still to this day, even we're in 2026, we're still navigating it. So yes, empowerment, we've come far, but there's a lot more work to do.
Impressive, very impressive. Okay, so we have talked about the barriers, challenges. Let's come to the action. We'll start with Yasmin. Tell about a time when you had to strongly advocate for yourself.
Every day. It was a man, of course. It wasn't a woman telling me about my hair. I think it's a challenge that you have to face constantly. I think I'm very lucky to work in an environment where I do feel supported and where I do feel like I am listened to and my ideas are understood. But I do still feel sometimes that, if it's a story that I haven't covered before or it's, a realm that I'm not familiar with, I do get a lot more pushback versus, people who have perhaps more experience or, even the men in the workplace. So I think it is still a challenge. I think honestly the moment that really stands out to me is at that time what I had just referred to when I was called a diversity hire. I think that was very challenging. And but you know what? I proved myself that I was not that, because I came back to Vancouver, and I'm working in mainstream media. So I think you prove it through your actions, you prove it through the work you do, and people know. And I think, that's what we do as women, is we just keep rising and we keep fighting and working. And that's how you can really prove yourself in what's tangible.
Excellent. Thank you. Anybody else wants to add on it?
Well, I've fortunately not had that in my profession, but out of being a lawyer, especially I remember my time when I was running for office in politics, that used to happen a lot. Fortunately, I was running under a leader like Christy Clark, and she had no tolerance for this kind of BS, because she used to have to face that as well. But I see a lot of that. I sit on a lot of boards, from crown corporations to nonprofit boards, and I see that a lot on boards. Like, you're sitting there, if a female board member says something like, yeah. 10 minutes later, some guy says the same thing, and everyone is like, their AI is up, and they want to listen to what he has to say, right? And it still happens. And it's right, exactly what Yasmin said. I just don't know what the solution to that is, but I think the one thing that we can do is if you are around women, so if you're a lawyer and there are other fellow lawyers out there, if you're a board member and there are other female fellow board members on there, I think it is very, very important to support each other. It is so important. If that person is speaking something, you need to support, and you need to make sure that the other person realizes what they are doing, because half the time these men are oblivious. They don't even know what they are doing. They're conditioned like that, right? And if we are able to create that support for the women around us on the table, that would be a really good step forward.
Excellent perspective. Yes, much needed perspective. And we'll again come to this one question later. Okay, I'm just wondering, how can we deal with such a situation when women feel overlooked or underestimated? Bill.
I don't want to take up all the time. So, you have to believe in yourself. And maybe you're saying, okay, we hear that all the time, or it sounds corny, or how do you do that? But that's where you have to build a foundation, because you talked about, times where did I have to advocate for myself? Well, getting my very first job, as I said earlier about women not being in the industry, I just quickly, I'll tell you, my first job was with CKNW Radio, and I got that job by literally cold call, knocking on the door. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, 5 times. 5 different managers who I just called and said, I want to come in and talk to you. I was young, I was naive, I was obviously full of something that gave me the power to go and do this. And I've often joked that they hired me just to get me off their back. But but I believed I had something to offer. Then once I was there, the fact that I look different wasn't even part of the equation. We were still dealing with trying to get women into the industry. So my ethnicity, that comes later. But looking back, I was the first person of Punjabi descent to be on radio or television in Canada. And we've come a long way. So, okay, now I'm in the door at CKNW. That's the first part. And then my interest back then was sports. And I very much wanted to be a sportscaster. And I started to ask, can I do that? Can I do that? How about this? How about that? I had probably the best boss on the planet ever, but he gave me a chance to do it. I knew my sports, I knew how to deliver, and I did it. The phone lines lit up. It was men. What does a girl know about sports? And it went on for a few weeks, and there was pressure, and the station had to make a change. But, with a few months down the road, another woman came along and became one of the best-known female sportscasters in Metro Vancouver. So it's a matter of knowing and not giving up. I mean, there are bumps in our lives, right? You need to learn to weather the bumps. And I don't say this to be, to offend anyone, but I think we all believe we were born a princess. Well, the reality is, no, we're not.
Very true.
Right?
Very
And
true.
you
I
need
agree.
to believe that, understand that, grasp that, and then put your best foot forward.
Very true. An applause for this. Yes, Yasmin, you want to add?
I just wanted to add on to that because I do feel that believing in yourself is so crucial. For me, I mean, nobody in my family, nobody even in my circle was remotely in journalism. And I remember going to these Indian events and being like, "Oh yeah, I'm studying sociology and I want to do journalism." "Oh, that's okay. My son, he studied poli-sci. He's a doctor now." And I was just kind of like, "Okay, this is not possible." And I used to say to my parents, and they were like, no, it's okay. You can do law, or you can do, you could do something else. I actually wrote my LSAT because and obviously I did horrible at it because it was not for me. And all of my experience, I was yearbook editor, like I wrote for the campus newspaper. It was all journalism. And I never gave up on that dream and on that passion. And although it was difficult and I had no one to lean on, I just kept persevering. And I graduated during the pandemic. So I am one of 4 people in my graduating class that is working in journalism. Nobody else was able to because it was such a challenging time to get work. And I started at Connect FM in Surrey. And at the time, I was a little bit disheartened because I was supposed to go and do this internship in Toronto at Global, but it got canceled because of the pandemic. But everything happens for a reason. And I was able to find my voice. I was able to connect with the South Asian community. I was able to speak on issues that are very controversial in the community. And from there, I worked in radio and I found my way into TV news, which was my dream. But I did it on my own. Nobody helped me. And I think we are able and we are actually capable more than we give ourselves credit for, and probably more than the world gives us credit for. And now all of the same people who said, "Oh yeah, be a doctor," are like, "Wow, you're working in news? Wow, you're a journalist? How cool."
Awesome, yeah.
So it is possible.
Very inspiring, very inspiring. Okay, so we'll move on to the next question. We'll start with Dr. Verinder first.
Sure.
So how can women support other women more effectively? Or if I want to just rephrase, how can we support and uplift each other rather than feeling like we have to compete?
Well, our lives are so busy now. Who has the time to compete? I think we can only afford to now support each other and lift each other up. But a lot of things have been said already. Like Puneet said earlier, if there are 2 women at the table with a bunch of men, be that women who support the voice of the other women at the table, okay? Make it louder. So it's really important to support each other when you're be the louder voice with the other women. Secondly, I think just creating opportunities for other women in the field. If a female younger physician wanted to come and find a new job, just like Puneet gave an earlier example, she hired that young lawyer who was pregnant and she knew she was going to leave in 5 months, but giving that opportunity to that woman to rise, right? So for me, that's a big one. Like create opportunities and give opportunities. And if as women we don't understand those issues, then who else will, right?
Very true.
And so for me, these 2 are really the main things that create opportunities, be there to support, be their voice, be the louder voice with them. Even for example, in my hospital group, we are a bunch of women and a bunch of male doctors. And we have a separate WhatsApp group of just women. Why? Because we talk about things that we understand each other just being women physicians, right? So for example, I ask, hey, can someone take this shift? Because I have X, Y, Z to do, and I know only the other women will understand this small little task as I want to go and listen to my child's recital at school, right? It's a small thing, but the other women physician, She understands because she wants the same. Because somewhere in there, as women who are mothers or raising families, we have this different responsibility that we understand with each other, right? If one of my women physician says, my child is sick, I really want to be with my child today. Can you go and take my call? I'd be more willing to step up and help than my other male physicians because I know what it feels like to be that mom who has to step away and leave your young child. So we understand issues as women that only women can understand. So I think we can't afford anything but to support each other, understand and help, and really lift each other. Competition is, I think, should be off the table.
I'm going to
Very,
add.
very nice example, I think, and very practical thing which we all can do.
Yeah, I'm going to add on to what Veenu said. I mean, Dr. Vrinder, we call her Veenu. Is I think we have to move away from this notion and the concept that we've created that women compete with women. Women pull women down. Or, you know, anytime a woman is rising, it's only a female who's putting the female down. I don't think that is the case. You know, two actresses in a movie, it's assume that there's going to be a cat fight or they're fighting for the same role. I don't think I see that, and I don't understand why that notion is so much out there. In my life, in my family, I've not seen that. In my friends, certainly, I mean, there's a whole lot of them sitting there. They are just uplifting each other. I mean, you put, I would say 10 female lawyers, and I noticed Megha, she's a lawyer here as well, and Sonia will agree to this. You put 10 or 15 female lawyers in a room, you know, 1 year call to probably 20-year call, all sorts of experiences, lawyers and judges. They will all go there, welcome each other, talk to each other, share numbers, share their experiences. The more experienced ones would say, you know what, you have a question, you call us. I mean, of course, there'll be one occasional bitch here and there would be like, you know, but they're always so empowering. Now you put 10 male lawyers in a room and you observe them for half an hour, I guarantee you they will be spending that half an hour just to try to prove the other person how better a lawyer they are than the other. They'd be waiting there for the other person to come and shake their hand. So I think we really need to move away from this concept that women compete with women. I don't think so. I think not only is that we don't have an option, I think that's also not that much of a fact that we advertise it.
Okay, with respect, I'm going to challenge you on that because we already heard it from our key speaker this afternoon. It doesn't happen amongst friends or in a setting as you're describing or in your family or, you know, with your relatives. The reality is we gossip, we criticize, we talk behind one another's backs. You know, we jump to point out errors and mistakes because we think by making someone else look bad, I will look better. I will get that job. I will get that opportunity. And it is happening. And what we need to do is readjust our perspectives.
I think many people will agree with this as well. Yes.
I mean, we're all human beings. Some of us are jealous and insecure. Some of those human beings happen to be women. But I think men do that as well.
I think good takeaways for us. I think on this International Women's Day, let's support and uplift each other. A very good takeaway. Okay, so my question is, how can leaders intentionally create opportunities for other women?
Are you looking at me?
And anyone.
I think we've talked about it. I mean,
Yeah.
I can say from my perspective as someone who's an employer who runs a firm, is to not only to treat a male lawyer and a female lawyer equally, but also to recognize the challenges that a female lawyer or a young mother has. I also have a responsibility of creating an environment that she should never feel judged or under pressure that she has to one day just last minute make a phone call and say, my kid is sick and I'm going to have to work from home today. I think we've all touched on that. I think it is very, very important to not just talk about it, but to also act on it and to create that environment for them. Like I talked about Christy Clark. She used to make it a point that she recruited women, and she, also made an environment for them that they are not judged and considered that they're any less than men.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think these sorts of conversations do create that space, and it's a safe space where you can share your thoughts and you can, have this conversation that is really important, and I think that helps. To me, I think the biggest thing that has been so instrumental in supporting me, but also supporting other women, is mentorship. I have been very fortunate to have one mentor in particular, but a few that I can really lean on if I have a question, if I need guidance, if I need support, if I need to run something by them. That is so important, because when you have a trusted mentor who's been there, who's walked through, this path, who has faced similar challenges, it is everything. And I think the more that we can be that for young women, I always say this too. I was fortunate to talk at my high school a few weeks ago, and I said the same thing. If you ever need anything, if you ever have questions, reach out, because I think when I went to that high school, there was no journalists who came and talked to us and opened the conversation, and I think that would have been huge if there were, because I would have maybe had somewhere that I could go when I had all of these dreams and aspirations that I didn't know were possible. So I think the more that we can help each other and be that mentor for someone, it could be everything. It can mean a career for that person.
Very true.
And I think once you learn to celebrate one another's successes, and you have to learn it. It takes a while. Sometimes it's not easy for some people, but once you do, it's good for the other person, but you'll find it's really good for you. Makes you feel good too.
Very true. Dr. Virender, you want to add?
Just a thought popped in my head. We're sitting here talking about some of these challenges or equality issues, or, we're talking about these things that are not easy, but at the same time, I want to acknowledge that it's never been better in the history of humankind, that I think the level of equality that we have reached to, and the level of equality in opportunities, our voice, our pay, I think the level of equality that we have reached, it's pretty incredible, and it's the best it has been in the history of humankind. So yes, while we talk about these challenges and we're talking about these issues, I think I want to take a moment to really acknowledge that we've come a far, really, really long way. And even at my work, I have to think of examples of, what are the issues? But the reality is 99.9% of the time, I go to work feeling very equal. I feel my voice is heard. I feel that they value me in the room, and, and hats off to all the women who have done so much work to get us where we are. So yes, we talk about all these issues and the challenges, but I think if we could just shift a little bit too, we've really come a long way. And the reality is, I have to fish for examples of where I think there are issues, but majority of it is actually really beautiful and pretty nice and pretty equal. And even, as women or South Asian women, we have to advocate ourselves. But still, this country has given us those opportunities that are so equal. It's amazing too. So just want to express thankful, feeling thankful and gratitude.
Yeah, we can talk about menopause openly now, for God's sake. Look at how far we've come.
I'm glad you said that, because that is absolutely true. We've come a long, long way.
Yes.
But, and I too, when I get invited to events like this, I'm like, what am I going to say?
And because I think our spicy content is getting less. It is getting pretty nice. Yeah.
And I think also, as I'm talking about challenges and barriers and obstacles, I do still want to recognize, I was born here and I grew up here, and I've had a fortunate, privileged life, and I think my obstacles and challenges are going to be a lot different than my parents, who came here as immigrants and had to build a life for us. And I've been able to do everything that I've done because of the sacrifices and challenges that they've faced. So, you know what? Especially with everything that's going on in the world right now, hats off to all the immigrants.
Very impressive and very exciting and very, I don't have words for the discussion because it ended with a positive note. Just one last question for this flow of discussion. What advice would you give to your younger selves? So we'll start with Bill.
Oh my goodness, from my younger self. Actually, you know, I don't know, maybe say own your worth, but everything that we've talked about today and what I've told you about how I got into the industry and, you know, the professional side of it, and someone was, you were talking about, you know, don't be a journalist. Well, my grandfather, maternal grandfather, my Nanaji, came to New Westminster in 1913. My Naniji in 1930. My mother was born in British Columbia. You know, a progressive family that understood, right? But when I said I wanted to be a reporter, their face just like, because it was like, what? You don't want to, you're not going to be a lawyer, you're not going to be a doctor, you're not going to be a teacher. So, you know, I had to advocate for myself in that scenario as well. So I'm kind of proud of the young Belle.
Awesome.
I think for me, growing up and in high school and everything too, I used to always like wish I was different. Like I used to always wish I was good at math and I was good at science because teachers would come up to me and be like, your sisters were so good at math. Like what happened? And I used to always wish like, why can't I just be a doctor? Why can't I just be like them? So I think I would say to the young Yasmin that, you know, celebrate your differences and your uniqueness because success comes in different forms and it doesn't have to look the same for everyone.
Woohoo!
I think I would say, because I'm an immigrant as well, and it's different when you're born and raised in India, being this grade A student, and then being a school captain, and then university, you know, doing great, and you're in student union, and you know how to cook, and you're like this excellent Bahu material as well, because you're also professional and you know how to run the house. And then from there, you all of a sudden you immigrate and you come to this new environment, and you know, you're a nobody. Like I was 24 when my husband and I came here. We didn't have family here. We didn't have friends here. So from being a very confident person, all of a sudden you're displaced. Like imagine, you know, from you coming and you're living in a different country. You know, they're little things. Language was not a problem, but even then there's a culture shock. I wouldn't understand the jokes, for example, right?
I still don't.
I know. And so your confidence goes down. You start doubting yourself. And I pointed in that direction, and there's women sitting over there. Nimma is one of them. Maninder auntie still gives me lecture over that. Like, why do you not believe in yourself? So, you know, from my experiences, I would say to my young self, don't shrink to fit in the room. You know, be there, take that space. And this advice I wouldn't give to my young self. I already gave it to my young self. It's like, don't let any auntie tell you you won't be able to find a man. If you don't get a man, adopt a child, it's the same thing.
Okay, let me just say, this has come up many times. If you don't find a man, it's not the end of the world.
That doesn't make you complete. You make yourself complete.
Exactly, but that is something that definitely was very overtly voiced in our culture and community. Maybe it's still out there now. Maybe it's stifled. Okay, maybe it's stifled a little bit. But there is life without marriage.
Excellent.
Yeah. We should talk to that. So you know, while they were talking and I'm listening and I'm thinking to myself, what advice would I give to myself? And I think the first thing that popped in my head was, I would tell my younger self to just slow down a little bit. Right from when I was little until now, I'm 43, I think it's just been a race. Like, go get it, right? So driven. And when you've had that journey from village to the city to medical school to finding your foot and your, through the door and in a country like Canada, and then going off for residency in US and going for fellowship to this elite university, it's always been for me a race, like go get it, so driven, so driven. And then I reached this point in life where I'm like, you know what? I mean, it was nice, but I didn't need to speed up everything so much and everything. It's not a race, like it's not a race. And if I could slow down, my older one is 15, the younger one is 10, and I still remind myself, there is still time, slow down, right? So if I could give myself advice, my younger self and even my now self, that would be just slow down, take, and just enjoy things more. And it's not about just achieving. Life has been so much about just go get it, achieve, achieve, achieve. I feel like I wish it was a little bit slower, and if I could.
I'm going to take this liberty without your permission to share this because this involves you as well. There was a time when Veenu was sick. She was on bed for a few weeks.
Yeah.
She couldn't get up.
Few months, yeah.
And she's someone who runs. She works at the emergency. She runs a clinic. She has a family, young kids, and she had gotten just a little better. It was a party at Nima's house, and she lives next door. And this was the first time I had seen her after I'd heard that she was really, really unwell. And she somehow managed to get to there, and she was sitting in a corner, and I sat next to her just to ask her how she was doing. I don't know if you remember this or not, Veenu, because that changed, the path for me as well. Because I was also, since I've come here, just worked. I literally popped 2 kids and went back to work. Like Kirpa Kaur was born on Sunday, I was at work on Wednesday. Daya Kaur was born on Tuesday. I had to wait 2 days because it was a C-section. Monday I was in the office, right? Mm-hmm. So I sat with her and I was asking her how you're doing, Veenu, and all that. And she said to me, she goes, Puneet, you know what? When I was lying there in the bed, I was thinking about you. She said, I used to think I cannot slow down because what's going to happen to my patients? What's going to happen to my family? What's going to happen to the hospital? And she goes, I did not pay attention to any of that. I got sick. I'm on the bed. Nothing stopped. Everything else was moving. The only one person that wasn't moving was me. And she said, I thought about you at that time, and you don't know this because we never talked about it. After that is when I paid attention to that as well. I slowed down. We really, really And the other problem we have is we glorify that we work too much.
Yeah.
I used to take pride in, I've still done that mistakenly.
Very true.
That, oh my God, I had kids and I went to work in 2 days and 3 days. We glorify that. We don't need to do that.
Yeah.
We don't need to do that. We do need to slow down. You're right.
And just a quick comment about women empowerment. When we use the term women empowerment, to me, I was thinking about it and what does it mean? And at this point in my life, I think it means having a choice, having that freedom to choose. To me, that's women empowerment. As a woman, you have that freedom to choose. Now, that could be, I want to choose to be a journalist and go and be awesome out there, or I want to choose to be a doctor and do that, or you choose to stay at home and take care of your children and be a homemaker, right? And that is women empowerment. If you have that freedom to choose to whatever you want to be. And it doesn't have to be, we talk about all these professions here, the lawyers and the journalists and the doctors and so many other professionals in the room. I really want to make a point that it's not about profession. It's not about how high you get there or what university you went to. To me, women empowerment really is having that freedom to choose, right? Maninder Auntie gave example of how she chose to rise or to shatter, and she chose to rise. That is empowerment, okay? For any other woman to make that choice, I think, and have that freedom to choose is empowerment. So if you choose to stay home and take care of your kids and cook good food and take care of your home, that is to me, that is empowering to be that woman who chooses to do that. So it's really important to also celebrate women who choose to be moms or daughter-in-laws or grandparents who choose to just take care of their grandkids, right? Even that is something to really celebrate and not diminish, but it's big. And I wish I would stop, we would stop glorifying, oh, we're so busy, we're so tired, we work so much. I think we do glorify that. And
I love that.
I really hope that as we move forward, we take a moment to really, think about that balance a little bit more. That is still something I'm trying to achieve in life. I haven't yet.
Oh, yeah. Excellent, ladies. I think, yeah, we have added another word to the definition of empowerment, that is freedom of choice. Very nice. Yeah, so let's shift our gears, and I need attention from the audience as well. So first light round will be just with the panelists, and the second will involve the audiences too. So for this round, each question has to be answered by all four of you. So we won't be, like it won't be bell every time. So we'll have the questions like putting someone else first. So let's start with the question number 1. Let's start with you, Doctor. Sure. So Dr. Varinder, one habit that keeps you grounded. And the others have time to think.
Oh, a habit. A habit that
I think
keeps
we're already
me
grounded.
Oh, I know. I think, so it's not about a habit, but for me, the one thing that keeps me grounded, and it's so powerful for me, is every day when I'm driving home from work and having experienced all these families' issues, these kids' sicknesses, and you're, listening to so many issues of so many people and their problems in life, and you're trying to help them. For me, driving home is that 30 minutes of drive is so grounding because I realize, I'm going home to my comfortable home, to my healthy children. And I think taking care of so much sickness grounds you because you never take your health for granted. Each day it reminds me, I'm thankful, I'm healthy, my kids are healthy, and everything else, the problems diminish when you have that perspective. So my job keeps me grounded from that standpoint. So it's not a habit, but it's a thought that keeps me grounded.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I think when I try to fly a little bit too much, I try to put things into perspective. I was listening to this podcast, and it stuck with me, and I do that a lot, is, how when you watch National Geographic Channel, the lens zooms out and you can see the Earth from above. I try to remind myself, like, this is Surrey, I'm in this part of Surrey. Now you zoom out, this is Canada, and then this is, North America, and then this is the world. And then this is part of your solar system, and then that's part of a huge galaxy. You're like little minuscule thing of this whole universe, right? It really, like, you think you're that chipkali that's holding the ceiling, you're not, right? If you're going to move, nothing's going to happen to the ceiling. So I think putting things into perspective and trying to remind myself that I'm a tiny little particle of this universe. If everything else can go on its own without me, things here as well will.
Interesting.
Yeah, not so much a habit. We all know the news can be very heavy at times. Recently, there was a tragic school shooting where children died, and that was very difficult to cover, but also to just be immersed in some of those stories was really hard. Not so much a habit, but honestly, for me, when I come home and I see my niece and nephew, and I'm playing with them, to me that is like pure joy. I love being an aunt, and I just love spending time with them, and I think just their constant joy in this world of hard times, it brings me joy.
Awesome. Belle.
I don't do this every night, but I try and wish that I would remember to do it every night. But I just kind of look back on the day and try to assess, did I wrong anyone today? Was I rude unnecessarily? Did I not see something from the other person's perspective? I mean, it could be in a grocery store, it could be anywhere, whatever you were doing. It could be in your own household, with your family. Just kind of keeping tabs on yourself and trying to practice what you preach.
I think this one we should all take away as well. This will keep all of us grounded. Very nice. Awesome. Okay. Question number 2. We'll start with Yasmin. One thing that still challenges you today.
with my mother, who is here in the room. But honestly, yeah, she's like my toughest critic. And I think when I told my parents that I was going to do this, I felt like, they were like, are you sure you can do it? And I still feel like I always want to make them proud. And I always want to prove to them that I can do it. And so I feel like that is always something that keeps me going. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. But I think a lot of daughters can relate to that. That you want to make your mom proud. And so yeah, that is it for me.
Awesome. Puneet.
I think the one thing that I still struggle with, and I think I touched on it a little bit, is as much as I'm sitting here and talking about women empowerment and how strong we should be, I sometimes lack confidence. As I said, I don't know why. I come from a family which is very, was very strong, and I'm married. I have a partner who's the one who's actually always reminding me. But I think sometimes the lack of, like, you'd start doubting yourself, and that is still a challenge. And I said, a lot of women over there get very upset when I sometimes make those comments, and they would remind me, like, try to look at yourself through our eyes, through our lens. Look at how many people look up to you, would want to be where you are. So I still sometimes, that is still a challenge that I need to overcome. I have not been able to figure out why. I mean, the only thing that made sense was maybe it's the immigrant thing, but it is a challenge. And I think to constantly remind yourself of that, and to Veenu's point as well, it doesn't have to be, a successful profession, or it doesn't have to be what you have achieved. It also has to be how you feel at peace, right?
Very true.
I guess what's still challenging for me is how to get vegetables into my kids. One thing I recognize is that, people assume that, oh, you're a pediatrician, parenting must be easy. But being a pediatrician does not make you an expert parent by any means. I sit in the clinic and I'm, coaching and preaching all day, oh, do this, do that. And I go home, and putting that into practice is not easy. So I think my challenge still is, trying to practice what I preach all day. I try to keep this lighthearted, but it's not quite a difficult or challenge. It's just still a fun challenge you have to, work on every day, showing up as being a good parent and trying to do the right thing.
I think all mothers especially of teens it's all relatable.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I hate to tell you this, but it doesn't just end once your children aren't children anymore. I have trouble getting vegetables into my 94-year-old father, who thinks it's okay to live on cookies and peanuts and potato chips. But to answer your question, I think my challenge, and this is really rooted in, our centuries-old culture, and, I'm a different generation, still trying to do everything, right? It's like, I'll do it. No, don't do it, I'll do it. And the challenge is for me to be able to say, yes, you cook this meal today because I'll live if you do it. It's okay. But I have this must do everything.
Yeah. Again, a takeaway, especially for me, because I also I'll do it.
It's like, I'll do it. It's like, okay, no, I can do the dishes. No, I'll mow the lawn. No, I'll cook. I'll do the groceries. And I'm supposed to be retired.
Awesome.
I just got reminded of another challenge. My challenge right now is how to keep my estrogen levels high.
True. Okay, thank you for this. And we have another round that will involve audience as well. So we'll have one question from each panelist. One word answer is required, and the same question will go to the audience. Let's see who answers those questions. So the first one. So Raman, these are the last 2 minutes. So one mindset women should let go of. Maybe Puneet?
Looks, weight, I can actually go on and on, but I think
No,
this
let
mindset
everyone.
of looks,
Okay, audience.
presenting yourself.
Anyone wants to answer? There you go. Just breathe. One mindset women should let go of.
Seeking validations.
Awesome. Okay, next question.
Pleasing everyone.
Awesome. Okay, one strength women underestimate in themselves. Dr. Virender.
Looks? Oh, I'm joking. I wanted to.
No, that's true as well.
Okay, so what was the question again?
One strength women underestimate in themselves.
I think resilience, bouncing back.
Very true. Audience, one strength women underestimate in themselves. Kulnoor. Come on, good.
Physical strength. I think we should all hit gym and gain some muscle.
Awesome. Yes, applause for both. Okay. Question number 3, Yasmin. One thing women should stop apologizing for.
Their opinion.
Awesome. Audience, one thing women should stop apologizing for.
For being smarter.
Woohoo.
Okay, this
I
is
like
really
it.
scary.
Let's keep going with this question.
I was actually going to say the same, being intelligent.
Awesome. And the last is a simple one. Okay, you want to answer the question? Yes, just breathe.
Putting self as priority over others.
Awesome. I agree.
For me, it's earning more. We generally say, yeah, and feel at heart too. Thank you.
Very true. Okay, last but not the least, one word that defines empowerment.
I think any empowerment is believe in yourself. Once you start believing in yourself, the power comes with it.
Self-belief.
It's a belief.
I was going to say that, so there you go.
Okay, audience, here you go.
One word is choice, making the right choice. And if I want to put in a sentence, it's a freedom of choice.
Very good. Awesome.
To celebrate yourself. We don't do that.
Awesome.
You know, if you want other people to value you, you have to value yourself.
Very
Collaboration.
true. Very true. Excellent.
For me, it's power to multitask. Yeah. Thank you.
I think I would say it's autonomy.
Awesome. Yeah. I like it.
you. Mentorship, either being a mentor to others of the younger generation or getting mentorship from leaders within your profession.
A good takeaway. I like it. Okay, so we are done with this round and now it's a time for audience Q&A. If you guys have any questions, you have two options. Either you raise your hand and we'll hand over the mic to you. I think Raman, Amy has a question.
No, that's okay. My steps are working.
And the second is you can also write and hand it over to Raman and I'll
First of all, I would like to thank you for your inspiring thoughts. They were really inspiring. I know you shared women taking on different hats and how we struggle in day-to-day lives and our and at work. I was curious if you can share one moment in your life, in your career, that truly helped you understand your potential and how that moment helped you grow and be what you are today.
Question is for you want to
For
ask
the panelist, up to any one of you to answer. One moment in your career, a turning point.
Okay. The one thing that comes to my mind, it's not a moment in my career, but this was when I ran for office in 2017. I never thought I could do it. I had no plans, and that's a different story. How Christy Clark kind of encouraged me. We wouldn't leave my room until I said yes. But for the same reasons, women empowerment, recruiting women, we lost. I lost that election. But I think after the loss, and I had the opportunity, I would say, I was lucky to be running against Ginny Sims, because Ginny Sims at that time was one of the very few politicians in our community who people looked up to and said she's really articulate and she can speak. There used to be always fun made of Punjabi politicians, right? And she had that strength that she could really speak. And so I was running against her. And we've had many debates, and luckily they went really well for me. And the campaign was really good, but I lost. And I don't know what it was about that campaign, that coming out of that campaign, I came out with such newfound confidence about myself, probably because going into that field and that area, I thought, oh, this is something I can do it. I'm kind of like, there, okay, whatever. And a few days after the election loss, I went back to the office on the weekend trying to get ready to start on a Monday, and I had a voicemail from a gentleman from Nanaimo. He said, I am the president of the Taxi Association in Nanaimo. So mind you, in 2017, one of the main reasons why BC Liberals lost, and Brenda was running with me at the time, and she can, vouch for that as well. One of the issues at that time in our community was we had announced, or the Liberals had announced, that we were going to bring Uber. So the taxi industry rallied and worked against us and voted against us. They wanted to vote us out, obviously, because they felt their livelihood was at stake because the taxi prices would go down and all that. So I had a voice message from this older gentleman from Nanaimo. He said, Put, I am the president of the Nanaimo Taxi Association. All my life in Canada, I have been an NDP. I'm going to die NDP. But you were one person I was really rooting for, and I really wanted you to win. So messages like that, and this newfound confidence that I could do this as well. I could be on the stage and debate. I could also, speak on topics that I thought I never could, about running a government, about economy, about treasury and all that. So that was one huge, by that time I had already established myself in my law career. But I think doing this, and despite coming out of it unsuccessful, really changed me. And that was one, I would say, an example that I can use from my life, from my short career in politics.
Wow, that's a good learning. You can learn from your failures and you can build yourself from your failures. Awesome. Okay, so the next, and anyone else, any questions? Oh, there you go.
I know we've focused on careers and changes that's happened and challenges in your life, but really what I'd like to know, personally, professionally, emotionally, or spiritually, what gets you up in the morning? What gets you up in the morning, excited to be alive and gets you up in the morning?
My family and being grateful that I have one.
Lovely. Anybody else wants to answer
That's
this?
besides the alarm clock.
Yeah. And Jasmine?
I think for me, like what gets me up in the morning, I mean, right now I'm doing a mat leave position on the morning show. So my alarm goes at 3:30 in the morning, and I do not want to get out of bed. But what gets me up in the morning is that this was my passion. This was my dream. Like 10 years ago, I would have never thought I would be in this position. And that's what gets me up and gets me going.
Excellent answers. Okay, the one last question we'll be taking now, again from Amy. Because we have been running out of time.
Yeah, just last question. I know
Yes.
you talked about women empowerment and women supporting each other. If you had the authority to implement one change that would help women progress, what would that be?
I don't think this is doable, but if I had some superpower, I would want men to deliver children. And work.
It was really a good one. Really a good one. Okay, let's have the last one.
I think that what Puneet is saying is that that translates to if there was one change we could make for women to be able to, it's somehow if there was better opportunity, like somehow the house was taken care of, the kids were taken care of easier than they are. I think the biggest thing we all struggle with right now as women or professionals is keeping balance between work and raising your family, caring for your parents or your in-laws or your family. And that pull, I think we all, if there was one issue for me, it's the balance between the two. So if there was one change, it would be to create better environment for women to also be able to take care of their home while continuing to offer professional services.
Awesome.
That's what you meant.
Yeah, that's very well articulated because every time I come home from work, the first question my younger one asks me, Mama, what's for dinner? And I'm like, your dad has been home all day. Why didn't you ask him? But they won't, right? Like.
Yes, please.
Hi, this is just the answer to you. It is the self-belief. If you believe in yourself,
So we can't hear you,
can do.
sorry.
It is for your answer. If you can believe in yourself, you can do anything. That's the one and only one thing, to believe in yourself.
There you go. Okay, so now we are closing this session. Yeah, let's have.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. Such wonderful panel, such great thoughts. I just wanted to add, there's one word I haven't heard, and I want to add that, and the word is authenticity. I think we've all been raised, I think 100% across the board here, in a culture of competition and comparison. We've been done that too, I know. ये छोटी है, लंबी है, मोटी है, काली है, ज़्यादा पढ़ी है, घट पढ़ी है. We've heard it all. And we've done it to our daughters, and we are continuing to do it. So I think the one thing we all have to stop in our culture is to look inward and acknowledge ourselves for the unique beings that each of us is. So if there's one takeaway, I would say, let's do that.
Awesome. I really love that. Today's takeaways. We have heard that empowerment isn't just about positions or titles. It's about voice. It's about authenticity. It's about freedom of choice, financial independence, opportunities, facing the challenges, and supporting and uplifting each other. So thank you to our incredible panelists for sharing such thoughtful insights. They were really awesome. I really enjoyed each and every answer, and I do feel the same for the audience as well. Thank you for the incredible audiences, because your participation and your attention made this discussion really successful. Thank you, everyone. And now I'm going to hand over the mic to Raman.
Gunpreet. Thank you to our wonderful panelists for sharing their valuable insights today. And a special thank you to Gunpreet for guiding this discussion with such a positivity and thoughtfulness. Thank you, Gunpreet. As a, so next is our second door prize. And for the second door prize, can I request Evaninder to come on the stage, please?
Two. I have my own way, right? 2, 6. No, no. 2, 6, 7. 2, 6, 7. 267.
Evaninder? Congratulations, Guneet. Congratulations. Thank you, Evaninder. So to conclude today's program, it is my honor to invite Her Worship Mayor Brenda Locke, Mayor of City of Surrey, to share the closing remarks. Her leadership and dedication continue to strengthen our city and inspire many women to step forward and lead. Please join me in welcoming Brenda Locke.
Well, thank you. It is and indeed my honor to be here today with such an inspiring group of women, and I really did appreciate listening to the panel. And I was reflecting on a number of things that were said, and I particularly wanted to say to Belle, you're right there. I really did appreciate that you reflect at the end of the day about were you kind to other people. And it's something that I think about every single day. We're in a world that is becoming much more caustic, much more aggressive, and much more unkind, and in many ways inhuman to one another. So I think it is something that I certainly think about, and I thank you for raising that. I think it's something we really do need to share more with one another and with our children, because we are the ones that set those examples, so it's super important. I don't know where it happened or when it happened that we became this unkind society, but it did happen. Some people say it was COVID, but we blame everything on COVID, so I don't think that's it. It could be something to do with, social media, I'm not sure. I talk to kids a lot. I go to schools and I talk to children in schools, literally hundreds and hundreds of kids, and I give them, it's a challenge coin. And I challenge children always, be kind to one another and be a good citizen. And kids always, with the greatest opened eyes, say, I will, they will. And I know and I do believe in the future, and I do believe in the children, even the ones that don't eat their vegetables. Where's the doctor? Because my grandkids don't eat their vegetables either. It's terrible. Anyway, I do want to thank you for raising that. It reminded me of something that's pretty important to me, and I think pretty important to all of us as we see society really breaking down in lots of ways. Not just, that's not a Canadian phenomenon. It's happening around our world, and so it's of huge concern to me as a community leader. I want to thank Meninder, where she's here. Oh, you're over there. You were. Thank you so very much for inviting me and putting this on, and Raman, wherever we're. Oh, you're. I don't know. I do need those. I'm a grandma now. I don't need the eyes in the back of my head anymore, I guess. So, thank you for putting this wonderful day, and thank you and congratulations to the Khalsa Credit Union on this event, but also on the milestone of 40 years. That's incredible. 40 years in the city of Surrey. Thank you for that. It's a really huge achievement for any business, including a bank, to be in business for 40 years in our city, and it does reflect the spirit and the dedication that they have to the city of Surrey. So I thank you for that. You know, today we celebrate the women who strengthen our families, our communities, and beyond. And I was listening, and I think it was Paneet was talking about where we are and what we think about. And I was on a fireside chat with our friend Christy Clark, and she was talking about her fear. Who would think somebody like Christy Clark was a fearful child? But she was. And I think that's one of the things that we as women, we have this fear in us to stand out, to be out there. We all do that. We have a lot of self-doubt, and so I think it's really something we need to recognize. And we do need to support one another. We do need to lift one another up, and boy, do we ever need to mentor young women and girls and young men. We need to help them all be better citizens. So for every one of you extraordinarily successful women that are in this room, please know that the world needs you to help. And as we support one another, the work alongside men as partners, sometimes I wonder, but most of the time, in respect and honor and opportunity, we need to build stronger, more inclusive citizens. And by embracing diversity, lifting each other up, sharing our knowledge, sharing our vulnerabilities, and indeed, as you said, trying to be authentic. Being authentic is something we try to lose. We're always trying to emulate somebody else, and we do need to be our authentic self. Some people say, I shouldn't be so darn authentic. They get a little tired of that, but I do it anyway because it is who I am. But lifting each other up so that we can all succeed, so our communities can succeed and we can build and we can raise a better future for our children. Again, I want to thank you to Khalsa Credit Union for bringing together the leaders, entrepreneurs, community partners to inspire, connect, and share ideas today. And I want to say, women, so many times, and all of us know this, I'm a mom, I'm a grandma, I'm a daughter. My parents aren't around anymore, but I was supporting aging parents. There is a lot of pressure on women today, and work, and earn money, and do all the things. And I don't clean the house very well, but you know, I do other things. I do go to the grocery store, do all of those kind of things that we all have to do every day. And one woman mentioned about multitasking. Nobody can do it like women, but we tend to do it with amazing grace, and I know all the women in this room do exactly that. So I just want to tell you how much I think women inspire me every single day, and I thank you for all the great work you do in our communities. So together we can all inspire the next generation of children. Women will continue to lead, to contribute, and to flourish in a world that sometimes is pretty harsh and pushing back on us. But the future is going to be all about women. Women will make the difference in this world. They are the only ones that can. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mayor Brenda Locke, for your inspiring closing remarks. Now I would request Mrs. Malik and Herleen to come on the stage. and honor her. Yeah. Center. Thank you. Before we conclude today's celebration, I would like to leave with a beautiful Punjabi thought. ਜਿੱਥੇ ਨਾਰੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਸਤਿਕਾਰ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਉੱਥੇ ਸਮਾਜ ਖਿੜਦਾ ਹੈ. Where women are respected and uplifted, communities flourish. Today's gathering reminds us that when women support and inspire one another, we build stronger families, stronger workplaces, and stronger communities. As Khalsa Credit Union celebrates 40 years of service, we are grateful to continue this journey with all our members, our community, and the incredible women who lead and strengthen our communities every day. We now invite everyone to enjoy lunch, networking, and visit the booths in the lobby. And we did everything with too much care and too much love. Hope everyone liked it. Thank you, everyone, once again. Thank you.
Thank you.